Shit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game? 32-25 to not medal for bronze.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Bros in the Bleachers podcast. We are your host. I'm Drew.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Josh.
And guys, 50 subscribers we just hit on the podcast. Let's go. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. We did it. Big milestone for the
Let's
show.
go, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Way to start filling up the bleachers, everybody. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Celebrate success. So we're very pumped, very pumped. Hopefully you guys all watch it. For whoever watched the shorts like that, come like this video right now. Like all the other videos. Watch all our stuff. Follow us on TikTok, Spotify, 5 stars. You know the deal. But anyways, we have a much packed show today. So let's get right into it. College football, crazy weekend. We had to lead off on Friday night, Miami versus Virginia Tech in an absolute showdown, which was many it's a surprise for many college football fans.
I was very surprised. I thought, again, Vatek hater over here, just going to continue to insert that every episode in case people forget. But I thought Miami was going to railroad Vatek. And honestly, the fact that it came down to the Hail Mary, the fact that it was even a close game, I was surprised 100%.
Oh, yeah. I had a whole lot of fun watching that. I was chilling, looking at the big screens of all the sports books, just seeing some absolute dimes, some good old runs, some yards after contact, just a wild shootout.
I think this game could bode very well for Miami. They haven't had really any close games to where they really had to crunch down and like tighten the seatbelt straps and figure out a game plan to move the ball down the field in a stressful situation. So I think this was a pretty good game for Cam Ward to finally get a feel of what it was like playing in a stressful game as a Hurricane.
Oh, yeah. And that ending Hail Mary, the controversy,
Dude.
the zoomed in angles, just the like hands on the hips. Like you're just like, what am I looking at?
I'm sure everybody in Blacksburg, Virginia was ready to throw their TV out the balcony.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt in that. Obviously, I think that everybody that saw that really got reminded of like the Isaiah Likely one earlier in the season, like Ravens Chiefs, right? So we've seen a couple of these big Hail Mary throws that haven't necessarily gone the underdog's way, and I feel like we're going to see one of these. I'm not necessarily shot calling or anything, but we're going to see one of these Hail Marys go for the underdog one of these games. I'm telling you.
Thankfully, it wasn't for any Miami bettors. And then we go to the land of Seattle where Jed Fish loses another Big Ten game. Let's go.
Oh, hell
yeah.
Yes.
Rutgers is elite. We're on the train. Rutgers is elite.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
with it. I will say that Kyle Monangai was going to be potentially my bell cow of the week with Rutgers because he's been an absolute dog. But any time that there's a fish fry against Washington, life is good. So let's keep running Rutgers. It was always Rutgers.
How you get done?
I get done.
Oh yeah, I was enjoying. I mean, this game I was pretty confident on, or like, and then they got that last touchdown late. I'm pretty sure. And I just looked over, just checking away from Miami. I'm like, whoa, hold on, wait, no, I don't want to watch you. We're supposed to be decided over here. We got an agenda to push over here. We got to chill out. You got to chill out, Rutgers. You got to win the game.
I know, right? It was a very low scoring game, very tight, very Big Ten-esque game. And I would also like to point out that I'm patting myself on the back. Will Rogers for UW, not so hot. So my underrated list looking pretty good. And then my last game. How you
well,
doing?
That one was obviously the missed field goal late was the little icing on the cake. Just had a lot of great reactions from that.
Beautiful. Mwah. Chef's kissing. Mwah. Bon appetit. Then my last game I had was Georgia trying to steamroll their way back to a comeback, but Bama shut the door on a late touchdown in the 2 minutes left in the game. Absolutely insane.
Dude, Ryan Williams is insane. And the eye black that he had that said kill everybody, I was like, dude, fire me up. Like, that's one of the top eye black artworks I think we've ever seen. Maybe like a John 316 Tebow. Like, again, are there any, like, obviously there's the cool paints. Like, again, I kind of like the Aiden Hutchinson smear, but like in terms of actually writing it. Yeah, true. I know Reggie Bush used to write something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but again, that was some badass stuff for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I thought Bama had this in the bag. They're up, I think, what, 31-15. And then Carson Beck just said, home in the fourth quarter and yeah, carried that team on his back and almost had it, but not good enough for the old Crimson Tide.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
one random thing that I learned about Carson Beck. Did anybody know that he's dating one of the Cavender twins? Do you guys know who they are?
Bro, no
I know
way.
who they
Yeah,
are.
dude. Isn't that crazy? Like
Oh, wait, no, you're right. I have. I saw one of them at a Georgia game. I'm like, why is she at a Georgia game?
yeah,
They
man.
got a thing for football players. One of them's dating Jake Ferguson, and then now we got a quarterback. Interesting.
Hey, it could be a step up from the NFL tight end to the potential Heisman. So we'll see where they land.
Yeah, I know, right? It's an interesting take. But Josh, I'll let you go ahead. What games did you like in college football?
And I liked Ohio State absolutely. Took a mini nap through the middle of most of this one, but
OH.
it seemed on
IO.
it seemed on both sides of the ball they were just dominating in the trenches. They were getting all the runs they needed. They were sacking the quarterback, getting hits against, just hits for a loss against him. So lots of sacks. I was real surprised when I found out that Michigan State coach used to be the Oregon State coach, because that his record there at Oregon
Oh
State
yeah.
was it was pretty like just okay. So I was like, what are we doing? So that might just be a program that is a rudderless ship out there just spinning around, trying to hopefully drum something together. But yeah, I was a very unimpressed showing for Michigan State. They really only had points because of that early pick, and yeah,
Not too shabby. Any other games that you saw?
obviously, I watched Boise State. Uh, Wazoo, are they just a sorry ass team? Like, is that what we can chalk them up to? Because
I just don't think the defense is there. You know what I mean? Again, the
mm,
Mateer guy is leading their offense through, and he's still a dog. But again, when it comes to Boise State, I mean, again, you're going to talk about him. I don't want to steal your thunder. Talk about your boy. Let it run.
oh, I mean, Genty, of course, he put on another must-watch edition
Clinic.
of oh, muscles. The guy's just one muscle. That's all it is. He bounces, he stays up, he continues on, he rolls. And yeah, like I think the real ceiling of this team really depends on what the quarterback does, because early in the game, Maddox Madsen was really doing some questionable things with the football. But yeah, it all seems that the Boise State game plan seems that they just, if they can hand the ball, if they hand the ball, if they don't, they play action off of it. He rolls out and just delivers darts to whoever's open at what 10, 5, 15-yard increment of the field is. And a lot of it seems to be the tight end, who was having a great receiving game. He was just always open, had 2 TDs. Fun game, fun game.
Boise State, a low key tight end school.
A little bit.
Low key, low key.
They're like a very good they stress blocking. Like it's kind of just they always have good old linemen that are just ready. I don't know if it's like a use of the hands thing or whatever, but same with the tight ends. They like to block.
I only know that because John Bates on the Commanders. That's about it. But
that hey, that Commanders roster is kind of littered with former Boise State talent. I think you're talking about one later.
oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean that Wazoo quarterback, I mean he's pretty good. Like he can
Super
run.
dynamic, man. Again,
I
I think we got like a Milrow esque, but like West Coast,
mhm.
It's
because the
Jake
arm is
Starling.
it is honestly. I mean, the arm is still suspect, and again, it's not like we saw anything that was like beautiful out of him versus like Boise State. But again, ran the ball, got in the end zone, competitive ish. Give it to Boise State though.
He could almost made our new segment that we'll get to later, but 20 carries with a 52-yard long rush, but for 28 yards. Sounds like he
Right.
got 7 sacks. That
Yeah, he
makes
got
sense.
sacked a lot, which was just my final point, is that the Boise State defensive line is insane. Like I mean, they harassed Oregon into just playing a muddy game that was really just kind of Boise State not capitalizing offensively. But yeah, that D line's special, and if they continue to just wreak havoc, then they can hang around and fight in any game as long as you can just continue to hand the ball to Genty.
Yep, I mean, why not just hand it off to him? I think that's going to keep winning them games in the Mountain West when they get to that final conference win, which I'm probably sure they'll get plenty of.
Oh yeah, and we can start the segment now. We can get to the Arizona talk. I don't know how much viewing there was from this this trio of people, but I was awake for the whole game. That Utah quarterback, he deer in the headlights. He got left out to dry. I don't really know how much they helped him.
So it was the freshman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Noah played okay in the first half. I mean, I think that atmosphere was insane. Like it was.
The Utah at night is like no other school.
Scary.
It was an awful environment to waste if you're Utah. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Coke was flowing post game. There was a lot of sad drinkers out there. And yeah, Arizona. I mean, I'll start the hot take now. I mean, Arizona is the most explosive team in the nation. And our whole offense is predicated on the explosive play. We were running it down their throat. We were throwing it deep, but yeah, I mean, it still wasn't like a super confidence building showing from Arizona, but yeah.
I will tell you, go anytime that we beat Utah when they're ranked, I just get a little like it just feels better the next day, you know? So I feel like we've got at least like, again, in our history of being involved with Arizona, I know there's at least two. There's probably a couple of other and some other sports too, but just feels like Arizona kind of, not always. Like you don't want to start looking too deep into it, but like we kind of have their number a little bit when they're ranked, you know?
And it's huge for us that we won that game because I mean losing to K-State, like that wasn't a conference matchup, which I think is going to end up benefiting us greatly. But
huge,
yeah, that's huge for us to win that first matchup. In our opening of our new conference play.
I think we really got to give Coach Brennan his flowers for taking those 2 weeks after getting our face kicked in and really redialing this defense in, holding that Utah team to 10 points that really hung up a lot on Oklahoma State, who's also not a bad Big 12 team. Really shows that his diligence to making this team being able to win football games. So keep that momentum going, Coach.
Absolutely.
Hey, to your point to the defense too, I really liked watching Gunnar Maldonado or
Dog.
Yeah, it was again just being able to be all over the field. I also love Justin Flo, and just being able to like see these guys like again playing from like the middle linebacker position and not only being able to like go in through the tackles, but then also be able to get to the edge and just like they're actually the athletes that can kind of make those plays. And again, when you have a freshman quarterback that's playing scared and is really only looking for those cheap like chunk yardage plays or like middle runs because those are the plays that they're the most comfortable with, right? It bowed really well for Arizona. So again, kudos to the team.
Oh yeah, shout out to Noah Fafita. I mean, he took a hit in this game where it looked like his leg was not going to be okay, and he just got up and kind of like limped a little bit, literally just ran it off. I don't know how he did it, just a tough as nails kid, and hung in there and delivered a strike and another touchdown to continue to swing that momentum for an overall victory. Oh man, we hung our hat on that all night. It felt good.
Built different.
And yeah, we play Texas Tech next, who lost to Wazoo. But yeah, they ran into form a bit. They crushed North Texas. They crushed ASU. Kind of crushed ASU, and then seemed to have wanted a trench fight against Cincinnati. So another let's see where we sit in the hierarchy game.
Yeah, I think that preview for next week is that if our offense doesn't show up against a really crummy Texas Tech defense, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. What else to say? But anything else from you, Josh?
I have one final thing. I got the MAC rundown, and we'll do it quick. We got an upset. Bowling Green, I know they were a 10-point favorite, I'm pretty sure. Old Dominion, big winning conference, but will they falter later in the weeks, kind of like Northern Illinois has? They got that huge out of conference top 10 matchup upset victory, and then kind of just pooped the bed a little bit lately. But yeah, and then some other MAC upsets. Central Michigan beating San Diego State. CMU shut them out in the second half and won on a late game field goal. SDSU might be a team that needs to try again next year at this point.
Stink. They're so bad.
I mean, I guess we took their good players and their coach.
San Diego State, San Jose State.
Yeah, Brennan is San Jose
sorry.
State.
Yeah, my bad.
It's okay. It's okay. We got you. We get it.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so as far as future games, though, I'm buyers on University of Ohio. Grittier win versus Akron. Kind of, they just stuck it in there, and they just continue to win. And I might have them as my favorite so far to win the MAC. And then Eastern Michigan, big showing versus Kent State, who's probably the worst team in the MAC this year. So the Zips can survive another year not being last, which would be preferred because we want that that Akron dominance. Kent State.
Yeah, Kent State has looked shaky over the last couple weeks. Again, taking the eventually the toilet bowl of the MAC is where it's probably going.
They got to win a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's the MAC rundown.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we'll hand the torch off to Jake. What games did you see?
Thanks, dog. So I had a couple of games that I was keyed in on. Again, I'm big on the morning college football game. So I was really locked in on the Louisville Notre Dame game, 15-16 matchup. Again, it was one of those games where with Notre Dame, I've kind of been spite betting them too. They're not quite on the Vatek hate watch that Notre Dame is on for me, or I'm sorry, that Vatek is on for me. But I will tell you that I had Louisville in the game. I really thought that it was going to be one of those, I had a plus 7.5, so it got sweaty and they covered the 7.5 because they lost by 7. So I was sweating the entire time. But I have a new player that I'm definitely keyed in on with Louisville, Ja'Cory Brooks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his game, but he's a senior, had 5 receptions, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6'3", 195. Gives me big Tederayo McMillan vibes, except less of like the dominant make like that middle cut and then be able to guy that go inside and be able to get, to the marker or be able to go outside and again, get to the sideline and just pump up the field. So that was one of the big games I watched, and I'll be watching Ja'Cory Brooks for the rest of the year too.
Ooh. Okay, keep an eye out for Ja'Cory Brooks out here in the college football world.
I think that just Louisville's got a good offense, and frankly, Notre Dame, I think that they're one of those teams that's kind of like Kansas State, that's kind of 3-pronged, where if they can beat you on every side of the ball, it's going to be hard to be able to beat them, and especially beat them at home. So I was happy that at least they covered. But Ja'Cory Brooks, he's on Baywatch, and he's on. We'll see what's up.
And your next game?
Yeah, the next one I'm on is I had Arkansas versus Texas A&M. Arkansas, again, was one of those kind of darling teams that I was on. And I think that A&M is just not legit to me. You know what I mean? I was watching through that game and I didn't see anything that was really like scaring me. Like if anything, it was Arkansas's defense that was scaring me on like some missed tackles and, probably gave up some larger plays than they really needed to. But again, another guy that I kind of have on my my watch list right now. Did you guys know that Arkansas has a receiver? His last name or his full name is Isaac Tesla, which is basically like Tesla. It's Tesla.
I see the spelling here.
He's amazing. He is incredibly fast, and he put up 5 receptions for 120 yards and a touchdown. Again, 6'4", 217. Big Tederayo McMillan vibe. Damn. So there are some, again, I was always, maybe it's just the homer in me with Arizona that I was such a like Tederayo is one of one, but there are some guys that are playing some, big games and some big other schools. I'm on some wide receiver watch this week,
Oh yeah.
Also, sorry for any Arkansas fans. They might be joining Florida, but they play Tennessee next week. Then they play LSU after their bye. They play Ole Miss, Texas, and Missouri. That's just yeah. I'm sorry, people in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Tough October. Tough October. Well, the next game that I had was Nebraska at Purdue.
Big Red! Woo!
Okay, hold on. Don't clap like that because sure they won and
they covered.
Cool. Okay, yeah, they covered too. Did you watch the first half where it was fucking 0-0?
It happens. It's Big Ten football.
Exactly.
Oh my god! But then the final score ended up being 28-10. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. It pissed me off,
halves, baby. Tale of 2 halves.
I get it. And I was on Nebraska. It's not like I was taking Purdue. Purdue was awful prior to this game, and they did not look good. But I don't know. The Nebraska team just pisses me off. Every decision that they make, sometimes they're trying to be like too much like an Andy Reid offense, and I'm kind of just over it. Maybe they covered. That's great. I'm kind of over it. They might be on hate watch moving forward. That 0 points in the first half type offense, it pissed me off.
Yeah. The first half, huh?
Hey, sometimes
I did.
Sometimes you can't find the keys to your tractor to mow down some corn, so just gotta you found the keys in the second half. So what?
Yeah. Late start's better than no start, baby.
Yeah, if I'm getting served corn, I want it in a better fashion than how they just served it to me. You know what I mean? That's
From
what we got.
Ohio.
I don't know about that.
Whoa, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, whoa,
That
whoa,
that's
whoa,
this
whoa,
is another conversation for a different
whoa,
day.
whoa. Yeah, but like Purdue's always good for an upset at home, and they play Oregon in like 3 weeks. So like we'll circle it. You don't know the legend of Purdue at home when there's
No, I
one.
get it. I
Oh
get it.
yeah, they
Yeah,
do
the
Purdue
come to
is
Urban
town.
Meyer
bad.
game in like 2016 or
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
maybe. Is that what that
Oh,
year was?
oh yeah, oh, infuriating.
All I remember was what was his name? Rondale Moore. I think he
Hmm.
played at Purdue, and that he just as a freshman was just ripping up Ohio State, which was a big upset. Uh, but yeah, okay. Well, Jake off Nebraska.
Yeah, off Nebraska officially. Dylan Raiola, a little bit too much of an impersonator on Patrick Mahomes, in
Hmm.
my opinion, at this point. We'll see if he can actually start racking up some consistent covering wins and have an offense that produces in all quarters and all halves of the games. But
And
that's my
I'm
hill
not
I
like
die
a
on.
I'm not a scriptwriter or conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but his younger brother looking exactly like Mahomes' younger brother like really threw me there when they posted that. I was like, "Whoa, that's wait, what?" I was like,
Yeah,
"That's
that was
not."
pretty creepy.
Ah. They got a factory somewhere.
We'll see. Yeah, and it's very, very, very weird, very, very strange. But we're that'll wrap up our college football segment. And now this will bring us to our new segment, Bell Cow of the Week. Now you're gonna ask yourself, what is a bell cow? A bell cow is a running back who at least gets over 20 carries, over 100 yards, and at least one touchdown. So
Feed them.
Josh, lead us off into your bell cow of the week.
Obviously, I have an Ashton Genty agenda to push, and so I for one, just want to call it the inaugural Ashton Genty Bell Cow Award. Because in the first time that we're doing it, he obviously qualifies with 26 carries, 259 yards, and 4 touchdowns. There was a pretty funny play that I highlighted here, like in the third quarter, I'm pretty sure. Some linebacker was kind of talking crap to him after he hit him. It was probably targeting, but we don't have to talk about that. But Genty just kind of pops back up, and like a couple of plays later, they hand him the ball, and he just basically carried half the defense 17 yards for like his third TD of the night. So just an absolute great performance, and my first bell cow.
Bulldozer Jake.
My bulldozer of the week comes from our armed forces, baby. Bryson Daly, the quarterback out of Army. If I told you that he had 24 carries for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns on a Thursday night football game versus Temple, what would you say? That guy is built for service. In 4 games, he has 82 carries, 492 yards, and 8 touchdowns as the quarterback. We love it. Ring the bell. Army by a million.
Air, land, and sea, baby. That guy was ready.
Ooh, yeah, now that brings me to me, bell cow of the week. Ooh, yeah. The quarterback at New Mexico University. Yeah. 21 carries, 122 yards. Yeah. 3 touchdowns. Ooh, yeah. 3 touchdowns. Good on the ground. 29-yard touchdown for a run. Throws in the field. Yeah. Scrimmage bounces off for a touchdown. Ooh, yeah.
I like it.
And that'll do it for Bell Cow of the Week. And we'll go off. Some of you guys had some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, I had one. I know this is a struggling program the last couple of years, but Sam Houston's off to a hot start, and their quarterback Hunter Watson, 27 carries, 105 yards, 2 TDs, versus Texas State. I had money on Texas State personally, and the Sam Houston's defense just showed up in the second half, and he just continued to control the ball, run it down their throat, and put his team in a position to get a game sealing field goal. So yeah, honorable mention for him.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Jake, any honorable mentions or just armed services all the way?
Oh, it's always the armed services, but the honorable mention that I'll have this week is Caden Durham from LSU. 7 carries for just over 100 yards, averaging over 15 yards a carry, and a touchdown. So definitely near bell cow-ish, but that offense just rolls sometimes and they feed some other people. But again, armed services for the bell cow, lock it in.
Lock it in. My honorable mention, Brian Robinson Jr. for the Washington Commanders. over 100 yards, over 120 carries, got a touchdown. Absolute hoss. Just never, always wants to lower the shoulder, never wants to go out of bounds. A true bulldozing bell cow.
Oh yeah.
And that'll wrap up our bell cow of the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that segment. That'll hopefully bring a good clip at least. We're going to go on to the professional football, and we're going to start on Thursday night. The Dallas Cowboys go to the Big Apple in the Meadowlands to face on the Giants, and they pull out a win, 20-15. And at what cost was that win, Jake?
Yeah, man. Tell me about it. Injuries left and right. We're pissed about it. You do see the oh shit. You see the jersey in the background. So obviously, like we're happy. We're proud this week. It's a divisional matchup. We like wins when it comes to divisional rounds, but man, Micah in some scary stuff. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence, that news is already out that he's going to be out for a few weeks. I will tell you, it was a shaky game. I know that bettors are pissed that the Cowboys were at 5.5. And man,
that football had a magnet in it. I swear to God.
Oh
I
my
swear.
God.
That whole Brandon Aubrey thing is still insane to me. How he had never missed it. Again, it's the commentator's curse where they always show a graphic right before the kick. They always talk about it right before the kick. Then the guy misses the kick.
It's always Al Michaels too. I feel like, and he's about to get the kick because has made 21 straight and wide right.
Oh yeah, he can curse some people.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the grumpy games from Al Michaels. Those are some of my favorites. But I mean, like, listen, I thought it was me as like a brain rotten Eagles fan. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like 5.5 lock. The guy never misses. Obviously, it's stupid freaking. And then he just kicks it to the wide, and I'm just like, well, it serves him right. He sucks anyways. So
yeah, but Micah Parsons had to get carted off with a leg injury. Anybody else who got injured, Jake's? I'm just.
DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah are the main two. And I mean, it just goes to show that field sucks, man. I mean,
oh yeah.
Again, the guys are slipping, and it's like, it's comical at this point. Like people that are like actual, football watching folk, and they know the lore of the stadium. Something's got to be addressed, man. I mean, again, I'm a salty Cowboys fan where it's like the heart of our defense is, getting shot in the foot in 1 week. But damn, like that, the fact that players know about it and that it consistently gets rated the worst field and the worst facility is like, come on, let's figure it out.
Hey. I'm proud of holding the worst field in the NFL.
but now you guys
tried to kill my quarterback.
Yeah, true. But now you got new ownership. You guys are gonna have new stuff coming in. You guys are gonna end up having a top facility for sure. I'm not
maybe a new stadium, hopefully anytime soon. But that
fancy garage for the Ferrari quarterback.
Right. Moving from the Big Apple, we go to the land of Houston, where the Jacksonville Jaguars lose 24-20. Looked like the Jags were about to have a furious, much needed win, but CJ Stroud scraping and clawing for the Texans to pull out a win.
I don't know how the hell he did that, man. He did not look good in that game. Like it
does not look immortal anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I did find a stat where the Texans are now 56, 64, and 3 at home against the spread since 2010. And which is insane because I think that, again, there were some years where they had the dominant defense and they were able to show up. Obviously, in years past, like, it was a little sketchy. And then now, with everything that we've got going on with CJ Stroud, this is supposed to be a Lamborghini Ferrari offense, and they are shaky sometimes. And obviously, Mixon being out has got to be a huge piece in all this going on. But like, it seems like there's something we're missing here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody was going into this year thinking they're going to be a top 1-2 seed in the AFC, and they're looking shaky enough to where it's like, oh crap, a couple more weeks like this go by, it's going to be a hard mountain to climb for them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Their schedule looking ahead: Buffalo, Green Bay, I'm just naming the good teams right now because obviously New England and Indianapolis, who we'll get to later. But I think it'll all be well in Houston because Stephon Diggs got his cookie, so not need to blow up internally yet for him. So let's see if he self-sabotages the team. We go ahead and move on into land of Carolina, where the Bengals beat them 34-24. That Bengals offense outperformed the Red Rifle, which got to give Andy Dalton some credit. He's making that Panthers team look pretty competent now.
100%. I found something where, are we really acknowledging that like the Bengals are good at this point? Like, again, like like winning this week is, cool, whatever, I guess, like morale win, like nice. But their defense is allowing 26 points a game. And since Andy Dalton took over the Panthers, they've been scoring 30 points a game. And I just, again, like, are the Panthers like good and this was just like a competitive game, or like are the Bengals like, are we going to see like they're going to have to put up 30 points a game to be able to win games throughout the year? Like, what do you guys think?
Oh yeah,
Go,
probably.
Josh. Yeah.
I think 100%. Yeah, that offense is just going to have to score as much as they can because there's nothing with that defense. Like they haven't had even like one performance to hang their hat on, and I don't even know how injured they are. But yeah, not a lot of confidence on that side
At all.
No, none at all. And but maybe the Panthers might string a few wings and might not have to get the first overall pick, or maybe they don't because they don't have a pick. I don't know. I'm not a Panthers fan, but hopefully some building more off for other Panthers fans. And then we go to the land of Tampa where the Philadelphia Eagles visit and lose 33-16 and get carved by Baker Mayfield like a Wawa sandwich out in Delco, Philadelphia.
Yeah, it really was a game that it didn't even look like the Eagles wanted to be there, and that became apparent like 10 minutes in, and then I was just like, do I really need to watch this? And then they went down by who knows what, 21 24 points before they scored anything, and then yeah, nothing happened on offense. Zero yards, I think, for the first 3 drives. Defense was not doing anything. They didn't want to tackle. They didn't want to cover. Vontae Maddox is terrible.
Dude,
Jake's angry at CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm like, brother. I'm like, Maddox is right there. Like he could be the second worst, but Maddox is the worst.
He had a tackle where I don't know if it was number 10 on the Bucs or Chris Godwin, I forget, but he literally flew by him, like on whiffed on the tackle.
And it almost, and part 100% for me, it's just got to be like the head coach is just like, they don't seem like they're in the correct mindset to even want to show up. Like they're ready for the bye week next week. Like AJ was gone. Devontae Smith is gone. Lane Johnson's out. Like, yeah, we'll just wait until next week. I guess it feels like 100 degrees and it's humid as heck out here. Like half the players were cramped and out by the first half. Like I know Jalen Carter left and then Goddard was cramping up, I'm pretty sure too. Yeah, and Darius Slay post game is posting his own personal stats. Like everybody's proud of him. Like, shut up, guy. Like, if the team doesn't win, nobody cares. Like, it was just a crappy game. And that Sirianni guy should have walked home for like almost the 4th week in a row. Like, what are you doing for me? Nothing. That's ugh.
Your head coach is the biggest bonehead. I don't know what he's thinking, trying to have Jalen Hurts trying to pass when he has nobody to throw to. Your top 2 targets are out. Not like did Dallas Goedert play? Did he, Josh?
Who, what?
Did Dallas Goedert play?
Oh, yeah, he played.
I'm not. He's very good. Yeah, he's very good, but he's obviously not like the go-to target for him. But Vita Vea, just any game plan I think he would have had to maybe to run more, I think he would have destroyed it because he just wrecked that O-line.
Oh yeah.
As the disgusting Cowboys fan that I am, man, 2 losses to NFC South teams, man. How do we feel?
Humana.
That's arguably the worst division in football, man.
It's a long season. Our division might be the worst division in football.
Hey,
I said the Cowboys and the Eagles, and then the Giants are obviously the caboose, but no, we're the best. But
yeah, you're damn right we are. Let's go, NFC beast.
The seasons.
There's a lot of time. I don't think listen, I don't think this is an overreaction loss for you guys. Like, I think that if anything, this just proves continuously that like Tampa is legit. People messed up sleeping on Baker, and somehow like this Tampa offense, like they consistently, it feels like it's been the last at least like 5, maybe 7 years where they've always had like some sort of consistent running back that can like get through, but it's always some sort of split backfield, right? And then obviously like Mike Evans has held down the wide receiver position. Chris Godwin has been there for many years, but then there's always been like some sort of random slot receiver that can just like gel in. And today it was Sterling Shepard that was able to just be able to get like random yards. And when you hear his name, like from Scott Hansen on Red Zone, you're like, what the hell? Like, what he's here? Like, he's on a team, he's getting paid. But
which it was like doubly insulted that it was like a Tom Brady announced game, which I didn't even have this on because I'm not going to listen to Tom Brady. I already was tormented by him playing football for way too long. Like, I don't need to hear his voice anymore. I'm okay. I have the rest of my life to not have to like watch him play. I don't need to hear him talk about football anymore. But yeah, just embarrassing. They fumble the Nick Foles night. They fumble a game where Brady's up there, probably like with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face you can imagine, just like, yeah, I'm just disappointed. I'm glad I don't have to watch him next week.
I can tell you really need to get that off your chest.
Anywho,
we move on.
Life comes at you fast.
We move on as the Denver Broncos gallop over the New York Jets 10-9 in what was probably the grossest game of the NFL season, hands down so far.
If you're watching that game and then you watch the Eagles game and you're just like, wait, which one of these places did a hurricane go through? Because like you couldn't tell.
That's unreal.
Yeah, Bo Nix, 60 passing yards, and Aaron Rodgers had 42 pass attempts, and that run game for the Jets, non-existent.
No.
I will tell you that the Jets offense looked awful. I think that everybody going into the season saying that, again, this was going to be one of those top 5 offenses that we should look out for is wrong because it clearly there's something that's going on with the scheme that doesn't make sense. I pulled up a stat where since 2010, the Jets have averaged the 24th out of 32nd, obviously out of 32 teams, in average offensive yards per game at home. And that's awful. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's over now. We're talking a 15-year stretch. Because they have one of the worst offenses that I think that we've seen over the last 15 years. Maybe we play a little guessing game in a little bit about who are the top scorers. But Drew, what'd you think about the game?
I think if you're Aaron Rodgers, that you have played better defenses and have lost a lot worse games than this. This is probably the worst loss on his career. If I want to make a point, if you're Aaron Rodgers with the ball in your hands, you think, hey, less than 2 minutes, he's going to win the game. Maybe they got to like pass the logo in the field and they missed a field goal. You need to drive down the field and win that game. There's not many quarterbacks in this league other than Patrick Mahomes that can have it less than 2 minutes, drive down to win the game. That was just very disappointing.
It's just uncharacteristic. You know what I mean?
And I just don't want to keep yelling like Sean Payton can't keep getting away with this like into the sky because like he just drags teams in the dirt and then he just he's just like, wow, that guy's dirty, and he's just it just somehow they win. It's gross. I don't want to be watching Bo Nix succeed.
I'm sorry for anybody who had to watch that game, and we're going to definitely transition over to where the Pittsburgh Steelers roll into Indianapolis, where the Colts beat them 27-24, and Joe Flacco is still elite.
Yep. Shows up.
Elite.
Yep. Anthony Richardson continues to run into brick walls, and for some reason, the brick wall keeps winning.
Yeah, no kidding. Gosh,
I mean, like, does the day end in Y? It's like between like Utah's Cam Rising and him. It's just like availability is the best ability, and they just can't do that for their team.
No, they came out early. The Colts up 14 points in the first quarter, and you looked like the Colts were going to take away with it after Andrew Richardson gets hurt, and Joe Flacco carries that offense, and then Justin Fields comes out of nowhere in the second half and just puts on a show, but it wasn't enough.
Oh yeah, it was pretty wild watching that. Who is it? Pickens? I think Pickens had that fumble, and it was just like you get the one game from Justin Fields where he's having the best showing probably to a degree, and yeah, some other guy was the guy that fumbled the ball, and you're just like, whoa, hate that you wasted that.
I think through 4 games, this has got to be the best stretch that we've seen of Fields. But honestly, like I can't really say that I'm super impressed by the offense still. Like he still looks like a flag football quarterback. Like like kudos to the Steelers line to be able to give him some time to be able to get shifty and make a decision. But like I feel like his move is to either like try to hit somebody on like a 7-yard like sideline type of pass, or it's like a 5-yard slant route, and it's just right up the middle. And I feel like those are like sure easy go-to plays, but again, like now that how many years is Justin Fields in now? This has got to be at least his 3rd season now.
Was he drafted maybe in 2020?
Yeah,
was he in the 2020 class?
So we're now in his probably 3rd season
2021.
Yeah, so 3rd season, probably 2nd of playing consistent football. Again, there's still going to be errors that happen. He doesn't have to be perfect, but the Colts defense isn't necessarily something that is super great. And again, if you can't find time to be able to get just a wee bit of a pocket pass to then be able to get your guy George Pickens, and then again, it sucks that Pickens ends up making an error like that, but you got to find those guys consistently.
Playing the Indianapolis Colts is the equivalent to playing Russian roulette. Changed my mind. Because it just every week they play the Packers, they stink up the joint, then they beat the Bears in a disgusting game, and then they somehow beat the Steelers. But this was a Joe Flacco elite offense showing, so a little bit different. So it's like, yeah, Russian roulette. What can I say?
Yeah, which I mean, to defend Justin Fields, he did have 300 passing yards, and 113 of them were to George Pickens. So yeah, just untimely fumble and like a lack of a rushing. I guess he did fumble twice. Justin Fields fumbled twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what a loser.
And a lot of that comes from.
Just kidding.
I will tell you you brought up the fumble, and I think that at least the one that I saw, because there were two, right?
Yeah, I guess there was two. That's what ESPN has here.
Because one of them, it was, he's trying to get shifty. He's rolling out to his right. And then
only one of them was lost, I guess.
Two fumbles from Justin, one lost, one Pickens fumble lost. So two total lost.
Gotcha. And again, I think that he's just trying to do too much. He rolls out of the pocket. He's trying to, either make a elite throw, which we'll see, at like the immediate line of scrimmage, or he's trying to, fake somebody out and then try to get, hold the ball out versus tucking it in. And I feel like it's a tough play on Justin Fields sometimes.
Just makes you want to yell about Jalen Hurts a little bit more.
Well, at least Justin Fields have some weapons, unlike Jalen Hurts this week, but that has remained to be seen. We're gonna move on. The Minnesota Vikings scold the Green Bay Packers 31-29, and what I thought the Vikings were gonna blow out, but Jordan Love just had to figure it out, but not enough to finish it off.
It was one of those games where I think that bettors, when they saw that a team was 3-0 and an underdog going into it, that was hammer, right? And I think that everybody walked out pretty happy with that. The Packers fans that had the Jordan Love kind of cloud in their head, I think that everybody's got to realize that, that was a pretty decent injury that he took down, and the fact that he's coming back this early is insane. So I think that realistically, like, we probably needed to see a week. This is a divisional matchup. Like, I think that, again, that Packers offense, there are times where it can really roll, and then there are times where it does not necessarily show up a ton. But that Minnesota team is just proving to show up that they are elite. I did see a tweet that apparently there's a bettor that has $250 on Sam Darnold to win the MVP, and it would win $75,000. So through 4 games, that guy might look like the smartest man in the world. So thoughts?
Cash out.
Run. Right.
It's Josh Allen is to lose. Like, he just has to have no more than 2 destructible games, and
fair.
Especially with how Patrick Mahomes looked today. He was bring him.
It's okay. I'm going to lay into that later, but no,
which I think they said that Christian Watson, he got stretched off the field or something like that, or yeah. So best wishes for him.
For sure.
Get well soon, but yeah, Jordan Love just from what was a run heavy offense became a pass heavy offense in a blink of an eye. So interesting what the Packers will have to deal with moving forward. We go on to our next game. The Los Angeles Rams stroll into the Windy City to take on the Bears and lose 24-18. Caleb Williams gets his first real win, I would say.
That's a real win. Like, again, the Rams, I don't think are, the best team in the NFL by any means, but they're definitely a top 15 team, and them coming into your home building and Caleb Williams showing up, that's a good win. I don't know the stats behind the game for Caleb Williams. I didn't really have that game on a ton. I did see going into halftime that Kyren Williams didn't have a touchdown, and I was like, we should change that. And I had him for a live touchdown. So we walked out like a little bit like a bandit right there.
He did okay. Nothing to light up the stat sheet, but he had his first touchdown pass to DJ Moore, 73 or 74, I'll round it up, completion percentage for 157 yards. But I think he really has a lot to thank for DeAndre Swift, because could have been an honorable mention.
That was his coming. That was his coming out party, and fantasy owners are
Mhm.
rejoicing. Oh my Lord, tell me about it. But
Yeah.
I will tell you that it was fun seeing him actually get, consistently used and be able to actually break some tackles and get those chunk plays, because that's what we've been used to seeing him. And it has been abysmal having him in your fantasy lineups and seeing where he's been the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it seemed to be a lot more pushing the ball down the field for Caleb, which I know that I guess him and a group of skill players went and talked to the offensive coordinator about like, hey, let us dial some stuff up down the field, which is some mad loser energy if you got your players telling you got to do that. So like, come on, let's figure it out there. You can't be conservative and hoping to do whatever and then also not trying to ruin your rookie quarterback. Like if he's ready to deal, like let him deal, trial by fire, baby. It's time.
Devil's advocate, not to rain on Caleb Williams' parade, but I feel like the Rams could have won this game if they had their wide receiver
Oh
1A
yeah,
and 1B.
absolutely.
100%.
They had
I
a
will
really
tell
good
you
showing
too.
against that defense.
Yeah, like they've got a very deep receiving core, man. Like I mean,
Mm.
they've got Robinson, they've got Whitington, they've got Tutu Atwell. And again, we're not even talking about the one and two best receivers on the roster, and they're able to show up. And again, at least for fantasy owners, if you caught on to any of those guys early, you're pretty happy. And I personally, I have Robinson. I think I'm kind of shaking my fist at the sky that I don't have Whitington, but it happens.
Only so
Absolutely.
much fab.
True.
And we're gonna move on to the last early morning game for some. The New Orleans Saints march into the Atlanta Falcons to then only again get beat 26-24 in what is a dirty South game.
Let's go. I
Uh,
never knew that I would be this excited about the NFC South, but damn it, the Eagles lose to an NFC South team, the Saints lose to an NFC South team. Life is good, man. Oh, they look
Oh
so
man.
bad. I also, again, I'm just going to continue to call it again. The Saints have looked bad since the take. Their downfall is here. It's not that we thought it was coming. It's here, brother. We love it.
Jake is dancing on the New Orleans Saints grave. Some stuff I want to bring up, and a very big fact: the Atlanta Falcons won this game without scoring an offensive touchdown.
Gross.
The Saints really shot
Wow.
themselves in the foot on special teams and just poor management of the football. And the Falcons, honestly, I think stole this game.
I mean, hey,
Crazy take.
I got a future for them to win the
It's how
division.
come? I
So
mean, what's that, Josh?
I said I got a future for them to win the division. So
Uh,
by any
That's a
means,
crazy take.
is it though? I mean, if they don't fumble themselves and just throw Derek Carr throws a stinky pick. I mean, obviously that's Derek Carr. But yeah, the defense did well. The Falcons didn't score. They held them to field goals. It's just two big major touchdowns by the special teams, really.
hmm
Yeah, but
Young
the
Hoku
division
will
is the
probably have his
Bucks.
number retired.
You know what?
You're
It's the
probably
dirty
right.
South. It's the Falcons. Young Hoku just absolutely nails. Good for the Falcons. Good for
Yeah.
Atlanta. Any more Saints back talk you want to give Jake?
Yes, I would love to see the Panthers win the division. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I will continue to be on my hill of that. I think it's the Buccaneers division to lose. Like I think
Yeah.
that we saw that the Saints like obviously have crumbled. I will tell you, I did not back myself up and take the Bucks to win the division, but this is still my flag planting moment that they're taking the NFC South, because again, showing up against a team like the Eagles that again I'm not going to bash anymore. They are a good team and they're well rounded when it comes to that. Obviously, there's some injuries that are around the
And their
football
coach
team
is a
that we
dum
don't love to
dum.
see. Like, yes, there are some things that are up and down with it for sure, but I think that when you look at that Saints team, like again, for some reason against the Cowboys, they found that magic formula that I think that everybody that owns Alvin Kamara or Kamara in fantasy thinks is feed this dude 20 times a game and throw him every little screen pass. And they just don't seem to use that strategy week over week. Like they try to surprise the other team and they're trying to go for these huge plays with Raheed Shaheed and they're trying to, do too much. Again, Olave is still elite. I think that he's still showing up at a very high level for them, but
Oh
some of
yeah.
their other receivers are just it gives me big like Deshaun Jackson energy. It's like you have too many guys like that that are just so boom or bust, where like the weeks that they hit, they're insane, but the weeks that they're off, they're catching maybe one ball or they're dropping three. Like it's alarming at what can kind of happen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what takes place for the rest of that division because I think
Hmm.
it's just going to be a dog eat dog world and just scratching and clawing
Oh
for the
yeah.
rest of those division games. We move on to the first afternoon slate game. The San Francisco 49ers beat the New England Patriots 30-13 in what everybody probably thought was a get right game for the 49ers.
Yeah.
100% needed to be done. I don't think that there was really any question from a gambling perspective of people, right? They were covering their spread. I think that when you look from the game script, seeing Debo get back in there and seeing him actually make an impact, like after missing a week, again, awesome to see. Kittle owners, fantasy wise, are definitely happy for him, getting involved and seeing in my opinion, I think you could call it a triple coverage, but it was at least a double coverage on him to kind of make a little over the hand catch. So again, kudos to that Niners team. They're still running even though they don't have McCaffrey.
Yeah, they're really able to figure it out. That defense just absolutely for the first like 3 quarters against New England was just absolutely punching them in the face. Fred Warner's the best linebacker in the league. If you guys disagree, I don't care. The man does it
No,
all.
I don't think
You're
anybody
Um,
right.
does.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
No.
I'm glad.
No. That guy's insane.
You're good.
Yeah, interceptions, fumbles, absolute just animals.
Everywhere.
So, yeah, get right game for the 49ers. They win. We go to Los Angeles where the Chargers lose to the Chiefs 17-10. And I hate Patrick Mahomes. This is the most overrated 4-0 team. I like the Chiefs, but this is just they're just so overrated. It's just insane.
I Listen, I didn't even get to see your notes on all this kind of stuff. I knew that you'd be pissed about this Chiefs game, and they won the game. Like
I know
it,
it's terrible, and they
week
covered.
week over week, you get pissed about this team winning and covering, and it's elite. I love it because again, there's something about this team where they're able to have like that big play. Like again, mostly from the rushing perspective is what we've seen in weeks prior. Like we haven't seen Patrick Mahomes really blow out a huge pass. Like I saw some stat, like obviously today he had the big pass to Worthy, but he hadn't thrown a 50-yard touchdown pass since December of 2022, which I thought was an insane thing.
Oh wow.
But frankly, like the Chiefs defense, like, or maybe it's the Chargers offense being bad. Like, where are heads at on that? Like,
The Chargers had him dead the rights. You just have Justin Herbert, who's just I don't think he's healthy still. The high ankle sprain is just gonna really hinder him in what I think which really hinges on the Chargers' success, but just a disgusting game. The Chargers didn't score after the first quarter. That was it.
But yeah, similar
to
to
your
Anthony
point,
Richardson,
Herbert.
like he skates by too. Like he skates by too for being like, you got to be available, and also like you got to be better. Like if you're the guy that everybody's talking about, how it's just like, oh, you're the next best thing. You're gonna he's gonna change the league. Whatever. Yeah, he's been terrible. He sucks. Trevor Lawrence and him, both of them, ship him out the league
Damn it,
already.
you
Send him
beat
to
me to it.
Canada.
I was literally just gonna say, are you okay? Since we obviously know your take on Trevor Lawrence, which one are you taking at this point? Like, if you had to start over, right? Like, let's say you can build your organization, are you taking Herbert or Lawrence, man?
Probably still Lawrence, just because just
Really?
just because he's tougher. Like he's more available a lot of the time, and like a lot of his stuff seems to be just kind of like he just has a lot of bad habits. So it's just so far.
I would take an injured Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence in a heartbeat.
I
Yeah.
I'm
agree.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I think that you're gonna get flamed in the comments a little bit there, but
that's
no,
fine.
but I think personally, at least with Herbert, like, and maybe I'm wrong, like we've obviously seen him have a ton of different weapons throughout like the early part of his career, whereas like Trevor Lawrence really hasn't. Like, sure, he
Yeah,
had Calvin Ridley, like he's had a couple of like running backs like ETN that can make a decent impact. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. this year, or is it Brian Thomas?
Yeah,
Right?
you're right. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
He's been able to make an impact. He had a big play today, I believe. But again, it's kind of interesting to kind of see where we're at on this because I think I'm rocking with Herbert. I think that he sometimes has the pocket presence. I'm just surprised that with the Jim Harbaugh offense, they don't have a better offensive line that's able to hold for him.
I think my
I mean,
argument is you see more flashes from Justin Herbert as far as competence
True.
than Trevor Lawrence, I would say, if that's fair.
but like who Herbert? What he's played in postseason game.
Yeah, and it was a game where wait, what was that game? Did the Jaguars beat the fuck.
That was the game where weren't they up by like 30 in the first half, and then the Jaguars came back.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
Okay, Josh, I guess that's a good point.
listen, that is definitely a big piece to bring up. I mean, obviously, in like their early careers, like I don't think that we've been able to see like the full extent of both of these teams. Is it because they're in the AFC and they've got
wait.
other big quarterback competitions going on?
He didn't have a dumb coach like Joe Staley coaching him. So come on now.
It's a good debate because they're both quarterbacks that have like just so underwhelming on everything they've done in their career so far, and it's kind of just been smoke and mirrors.
Who's talking Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence? Who's better debate more than us? Who else? You can't find it. Please stay. Please don't leave. Please, we need you.
Hey, we're opening up more rows of the bleachers, baby. We're on the road to a Hana. Let's see it.
Right.
It's a good debate.
And then we go into what I thought was a game the Browns should have won. They lose to the Las Vegas Raiders in Sin City, 20-16. Hope Deshaun Watson stays and blows all his contract money in Vegas. That's all I have to say.
The O-line's terrible. He's terrible. The wide receivers don't really care. The defense is kind of just they know the offense doesn't care, so they seem to not really care. Like, Kevin Stefanski's great for that first opening drive, but after that, it's just you don't know what you're gonna get.
I have a point. Bill Callahan, who now coaches offensive line for the Titans, one of the best offensive line coaches. You could really see the drop off from what he built in Cleveland, and now he's gone into Stefanski's team pretty much. Quite a drop off.
Yeah. And Nick Chubb will be back probably a week or two, which hopefully that does something. But again, if there's no line there, it's just
take a gap here, Nick. Do yourself a favor. Take a gap here.
They might be a sneaky team again for like that overall that top pick. Which what do you do there? I was telling the other part of my little partner over here, Emily. I was telling her and her Browns fandom, I'm like, the only thing you can really do is hope to find somebody who will maybe take that contract and hopefully get a rookie contract for a QB that you can control. But again, Cleveland and rookie quarterbacks has always been a interesting proposition. But so far it's not been a very fun time.
No,
Browns fans are barely surviving, but they're here.
Yeah, and I mean for the Raiders, that's a crazy game to like. You have Max Crosby's not even, which is arguably their best player. He's out, and they come in and have a pretty good showing. But Devontae Adams was out too. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah,
he was out. Yep. Max Crosby was out. I was surprised that the Raiders was able to pull it out, and they deserved it. They game planned, they outplayed them, and it was pretty ugly, but they won.
Which I don't even know what this team's trying to do, because I mean they have Gardner, which I don't know if they signed him to try to win some games, or are they just punting to try to get a pick. Like I'm kind of confused on what the team's trying to do, because you're not winning that division with Patrick around. So
it feels like internally they picked him to not necessarily win a ton of games, but he's kind of a dog, and I don't think they necessarily got what he was mentioned on paper beforehand. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that'll do it for the afternoon slate. Oh, wait, no. There's one more game. The Washington Commanders go into the toaster oven in Glendale and beat the Arizona Cardinals 42-14, baby.
Did he drink a Mountain Dew before this, or like what?
I don't know. I'm here for the Jonathan Gannon slander, though.
It's crazy. I don't even know if he hears this.
No, he's not here.
Yeah. But anyways,
we loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they won the game. Jaden Daniels.
Way to come back chill, man. Way to just run in.
Jaden Daniels is looking to be elite, absolute, just pinpoint accuracy. The run game looks great. The offensive line looks competent in I don't know how many years. And Kyle Murray and that team stink. So,
oh yeah, and luckily for me, I have both of those quarterbacks in fantasy, and I started Jaden Daniels. So,
stonks.
Elite GMing. I was normally it doesn't happen like that. I'm still gonna lose, but
how does it feel? First in the division. How do you guys like that, huh? I'm gonna be on my high horse as long as I can.
right.
Because
we hear you. We hear you.
And guess what? We're not going anywhere. I'm gonna kick my feet up. Just gonna kick my feet up because
he's got the dogs out.
We have a schedule. We have such an easy schedule. We have Cleveland, they suck. Baltimore, maybe a tight game, who knows? Carolina, they stink. Chicago, Giants, Pittsburgh, and then that's all I gotta say. We ain't going nowhere.
Okay, so how many games is that? Is that all? Is that 5 games that you just listed off? 4?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the record? What's the record in those 5 games? You going 5 and you're going 5-0 in those 5 games?
Oh, we're going 4-1. We're going 4-1. That's
wow.
my take. I think we lose to Baltimore on an away game, but but to bring back down to earth, this is I don't get to do this often.
You're good. You're good, man.
No,
you're good. We're all NFC East fans. We'll allow you to feed into your delusion. It's all good.
Right. Yeah, it's like, it's cute, Drew. Yeah, we've been there before. Yeah, no worry. Yeah, you haven't won the division in like 4 years. Anyways, just very, very proud and happy for this team. Hopefully, there's more to come.
Well, hey, I gotta ask real quick. We're all on the train of him for like offensive rookie of the year, right? I mean, like, has there really been anybody else that like we're really comparing at this point? Like Jaden Daniels has really come in and is pretty much elbowing like all of the media coverage when it comes to that type of stuff. But any other guys that you guys are thinking about?
I mean, if he gets the coverage, I think he'll get it. But Malik Neighbors gets a weird amount of coverage and like, I mean, like he's good, but like,
he's just the number 1 target, and he's getting fed because he's the most competent receiver on that team.
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to kill him.
But he's still very good. Yeah, did he get hurt? He got
there was a meme that I saw where he was like, you know how in all the football games, how they'll show you like your injury score by showing your body and then like the different color types.
Yeah,
it was like dark red, like almost like purple. It's like buddy.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was. Where is he? And then it was just kind of like middle of the field, middle of the field, middle of the field, and like any good football team will make you pay a tax for that. And I'm just like, please stop.
Yeah, Daniel Jones hospital passes easy.
Yeah, so we got to justify the contract.
But yeah, as far as other offensive rookies, maybe Marvin Harrison. Not after this game, but I mean, he did catch a touchdown and had a few yards. So I'm sure the Cardinals will probably keep feeding him. So those are probably the only 2 that can probably show up at the table.
Those 2 guys, right? Like, let's say they show up and they put up 1,000-yard receiving seasons each, right? Let's say they have even 1,100 yards and like 10 touchdowns, right? Like, is that going to overtake Jaden Daniels taking this team from absolute dog shit to now being in, potential number 1 seed number 1 in their division, and at a minimum they're looking like a wild card team,
Yeah, no, totally. He hasn't had, out of the 4 games, he hasn't gone under 70% completion, and the one game that was against Tampa. So just protect him, save him, do everything you can to keep him. And Cliff Kingsbury is running that offense really well. Very proud.
I mean, yeah, I just checked the draft order, and I mean, maybe the only other one again that we talked about earlier was like Bo Nix if they win a couple more games, but it's just not as flashy. Like, it's not as fun. Nobody's sitting down to be like, oh, time to watch my Bo Nix game.
60. He's got 60 passing yards. He's not winning the award. You know what I mean?
No.
If Bo Nix wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, and unless Jaden Daniels gets hurt, knock on wood, couch. Will I be FSU fan and say I'll eat my own poop or something like that? Like,
I was gonna say the 5-layer burrito is
the 5-layer burrito. What? I'm not gonna do it. But
there's no reason. No reason.
The big cheese it.
But that'll do it for the afternoon slate. And the Bills and Ravens are playing right now, and it's 0-0. Been only 4 minutes.
Oh no! There was just a touchdown.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, King Henry, I think, just ran down and scored a tutty.
Ooh, look at you. Drew's looking like he's pissed.
Oh no.
We have the Bills. We took the Bills. Oh my God, 87 yards.
Wow. Talk about that might be the bell cow. He might be coming for it.
Ring it in.
Honk, honk.
Yeah, and
eternally.
I'm sure everybody. Damn, that sucks.
Wait, that is a hell of a run. Holy crap.
You just saw it?
Yeah.
Well, looks like the Ravens might win that game now. Great.
Drew, we're 5 minutes into the first quarter, bro. Like, I know that everyone listens to this on Monday. Okay, timeout. I'm calling an official timeout here. Okay, I love Drew. This is no shade against him, but he is the classic better of put any dollar amount. It could be from $5 to $100. The second that something goes bad in the game for his team, it is blow up disaster, throw in the nukes, we're done, the season's over, the Bills are burnt. No, the Bills are going to be fine. This is just like with the Chiefs, man. Obviously, they're on the road. The Ravens are a very good team too. Take a deep breath. All of it is going to be fine.
I mean, as the third party mediator, Jake's probably second.
Come on, it's an 87-yard run. How can I not overreact?
Exactly.
If any time to overreact, this would be the right time. Yes. But yes, you're not wrong, Jake. Plenty of game left.
My team played in like 107-degree real field weather with 90% humidity, with barely anybody out there, with half the team cramping up. And you're like, are the Bucks the best and the Eagles the worst? And I just let it happen, week by week, baby.
Absolutely. So I guess Bills, Jake Bills, Josh. What do you feel?
I'm on the Bills still. Yeah.
Okay, Bills. Hopefully that doesn't come to bite us in the butt. We go to Monday night, another doubleheader. Crazy. I want 30 seconds or less on this game. Titans, Dolphins. What do you have?
More memes, please.
Thompson sucks.
If Will Levis doesn't win this game, I would retire.
I might just tease a bunch of things in every direction.
I was going to say, low-key, I think I'm just taking both quarterbacks passing unders. I don't even know what they are right now, but they both suck. Both of their offenses suck. It's going to be a kickers matchup maybe, so that always makes me happy. So that's my thoughts.
And then the copium game, or at least we'll have the cope, the Seahawks Lions in Detroit. Who do we like? What do we think? Pretty good two teams.
I love a hierarchy game. And I don't know. I always feel like I want to be like, oh, the Seahawks are always suspect. And then I say that and they come out and kill a team. And I go, okay. So I might just take the Seahawks.
Okay. That's a dog bet. I kind of like that. I will be taking the Lions, though. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs and Sammy Laps both have very good days versus the Seahawks. Give me the Lions.
Save my fantasy, Sammy Laporta.
So please. We're all on the Lions, huh?
Okay. No, I was on the Seahawks.
Seahawks 4-point underdog, plus 165 according to this Yahoo Sportsbook I'm looking at. Do I want to take Geno Smith? Will he right back? Give me the Lions.
I'm taking Lions and points, by the way.
Yeah,
interesting. Very bold. I think this will be an interesting game. Hopefully the Lions feed off their crowd. Jared Goff doesn't turn off his brain like he did against the Buccaneers, and they win a good game by a touchdown. So
I like it.
I think that's the census. And that'll do it for our NFL slate for the week. We then go on to our current events, what we saw around the league, what was interesting to us. And from what the trend has been, it's been baseball playoffs right around the corner. It's almost October. We have, for me, the Oakland A's say farewell to their fans. Very sad. Fans taking seats out of the stands.
Yeah.
What was the pitch? He was a pitcher, right? Who sang the national anthem for them. You know what I'm talking about? You guys saw who sang the national anthem?
I didn't see that actually.
I have no idea.
He was a former player. I apologize for forgetting his name. I think I saved it. I found it. Barry Zito.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Barry Zito sang the national anthem, former Cy Young winner. Very cool, I'm sure, very heartfelt moment for that fan base. They deserve it. They sold out the stadium. You guys will have a baseball team to watch and go to.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll see.
Very sad.
Yeah, there's still some plans that need to be confirmed and whatnot. I think on that.
That's right. They're gonna play in Sacramento. Whoops.
They play in Sacramento for a little bit. But I will tell you, the best part that I saw about that was obviously all the fans like staying after. The manager's speech was awesome, but then the grounds crew who stayed late and all of the fans that were there with literally any receptacle that they could find to be able to take game dirt home. I mean, that's the sauce. Like that's the stuff that that the people that work for that organization, not necessarily the people that own the organization, but the people that work for the organization care. The fans
Oh
care.
yeah.
The players care, man. Like it's sad, but I mean to new beginnings, if anything, you know.
Yep.
Absolutely. John Fisher, you can eat a poop sandwich. I'm sure all the A fans would like that.
Scumbag.
And then next in baseball, the Detroit Tigers clinch a playoff spot. And crazy enough, the Tigers going into August 11th had a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs. And as of September 27th, put it a 100% to make the
They are
clinch.
insane, man.
Oh
I will
yeah.
tell you that it was fun watching their celebration. I don't know if you saw in the locker room, Tarek Skubal was getting interviewed, and he's like mid drinking a beer, and they're like, "Who's getting after it the most tonight?" And like mid conversation, he's like, "Me." Chugs the rest of his beer. It's gonna be me, and
Yep.
I don't have to play tomorrow. It's gonna be me. It
It's
was such
gonna
a good
be
clip.
me.
It
Yeah,
was
and he should
great.
lose his Cy Young to Manuel Clase.
Suspect.
Ooh, ooh.
I do like.
I'll
I
take it.
listen. We've talked
Is
about
it?
Class A before. Class A is a freaking dog, and I think that again, one of the seasons that we haven't seen before. I think they're going to give it to Scooble because of the starter bias.
I mean, his numbers have been better than Rivera. So well,
Isn't there not a
hang
relief
that hat
man
on.
award of the year that he's probably gonna win, hands down, reliever of the year?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh
but
yeah.
then
I
but
mean,
Cy
yeah.
Young versus reliever of the year is that's got a different sauce to it. If you win
Yeah.
both, you're a legend. You know.
We don't want
Mariano,
minnows, baby. We want the big fish.
Mariano Rivera
There you go.
award.
Oh yeah.
Honorable.
Well,
But yeah, no, I
they
get
should
it.
change
I
the
get
name.
it. I would if there was gonna be an anomaly in a baseball year, it would be this year with a closer winning the Cy Young. But yeah, that's all I had.
Well, I will keep it in the family of baseball. In my world, I saw a very funny ad this week. So Heinz ketchup, they're known for having the 57 ingredients type thing. And Shohei obviously has been on a tear going for plus 50-50. So they put out an ad that was basically a bottle of ketchup. Drew, I'll have you link it. And it's basically just promoting the 57-57 season that they were trying to promote for Shohei. Unfortunately, this is the last day of the regular season. He did not get to 57-57, but he finishes the year at 54 and 59. And again, just arguably having one of the best hitting seasons that we've ever, or I shouldn't say just hitting, but hitting all around seasons from the DH position. So very, very cool to see.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. 57, that would be the chef's kiss of marketing right there.
I know,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They kind of just killed it. So again, kudos to the Heinz team. It didn't end up
Mhm.
happening, but the thought was there, you know. And then the other baseball thing that I had is Drew, to your point on the Tigers making the playoffs. What we really need to talk about is how fucking bad the Twins choked, and they had it, man.
Yeah.
They had it, and it's. I mean, I don't know what happened. I think that again, we've kind of mentioned it before. Where like this Twins locker room is kind of weird. Like I know that Rocco
Mhm.
is a big players guy. Obviously, like there's some guys like Buxton and Correa that have been like hurt year over
Oh,
year have missed
they're never
significant
healthy.
time. They're never healthy. But
Royce Lewis, yeah.
this was not that. This was baseball. This was just not showing up and being able to perform. And again, a team like the Tigers, they're hungry dogs run faster, man. And they were able to just show up throughout the month of August and September. And guess who's in the playoffs and guess who's not, man? It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, the Twins, they really the poo-pooed. I know I heard a lot of talk about how like they especially with a lot of their young players, like they were just weird about pinch running in people or pinch hitting in people. And like I know the huge thing for like the kind of the main reason why the Guardians had the year that they had was that Stephen Vogt was like a lot more stressing that like these guys that we have up here that are young, they got to play like every day, regardless of what position they're at. But like try to keep it to like two different positions and put them in and let them stay and let them, play through the whole game and can continue to do that. And I think the Twins just really had a high pinch rate for runners and even just batters. So could be something. I don't know, but yeah, when you have no consistency in your lineup, it's tough to win games every day.
Agreed. And I know that Pablo Lopez was like a big piece of like their pitching rotation, but like frankly, like there are only so few teams that can have like a rotation that's really built off of one guy. Like, we've seen Baltimore with Burns, we've seen obviously the Tigers with Scooble. So I just think the Twins again, Pablo Lopez isn't one of those guys that jumps off at the stat sheet being like, that is the guy I need to watch every week, So
Yeah.
it sucks for Twins fans, but man, that is a crumbled job of the century.
They're poop.
Absolutely. Josh,
I
any
don't
current
like them.
events? Any current events? Any more dancing on the grave of your rivals?
No, I mean, I more just want to yell at the MLB. Not only did they, take away a deserving city's team, but also they canceled this last Guardians game. So Jose Ramirez didn't even get a chance for the final game to even try to go 40-40.
What? They're
Yeah,
having a doubleheader for the Braves and Mets tomorrow.
and that's what I'm saying. They literally are not going to do that because I guess that stupid team in Houston has to prepare for their matchup against Detroit. So it's like, no, you should probably have to play that extra game and pick some 12-year-old from the audience, let them groove some pitches to Jose. I want to see a big old whammy. Come on. But
Unreal.
yeah, it's just, it's just annoying.
Sad home run pitch bro noises. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Ba-dum.
Very sad. That'll wrap up our current events, and we transition into our bencher play segment. For me, I got a couple. I'm playing this week. I got a big play. I got a big play in Michael Irving being the ultimate hype man for the Miami Hurricanes. This man was going insane. If you know who he is, he's bringing all that energy, just absolutely just going insane, just like 1980s Michael Irving, just going up. I can't do him justice to impersonate him,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I thought it was sick. Very cool to see. My bench is me not realizing last week that Bebo had the sickest hype video going in before that ULM game. Had Rick Ross jamming with "The Devil Is a Lie," and yeah, Bevo's really big. And then I'm having a double bench. Double bench. Jeremy McNichols, former Boise State Bronco. Josh, flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct for getting his second touchdown of the game for the Commanders for doing an arrow celebration. What if these freaking refs are so soft? How do you throw a flag for a guy literally just going like this into the crowd? Whose feelings is that hurting? He didn't go up into his player's face. It's just so soft. I was infuriating. Bench the refs again for like a second week. Can't get enough.
Always.
Always
And
benching.
and yeah, Josh, bench or play? Who would you have?
I'm benching, and I'm going to do something just kind of a little random because my double bench was
Double
double benching
bench.
like yours was the MLB canceling that game because what does 162 of 162 mean if you're just gonna like, yeah, 161 is good, whatever. But yeah,
No
I'm just gonna be
integrity.
benching Jersey analytics, like these weirdos online that want to talk about how position, like, I know we're in an age where like the positions don't really matter for the jersey numbers, but like I don't care if a guy's winning in whatever number he's winning in. I'll root for whatever freaking number. I'm like, I remember I saw it all going into the Eagles game where they're on like their third or fourth wide receiver, and they're just like, oh, he took number like 38, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I'd rather have our regular wide receivers. Why do I care what number he picks? Go out there and catch the ball. That's what matters. Like, just shut up. It's stupid.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm
win
not with
football
that.
games. Who cares about the numbers?
Jake, lay it on us.
Oh man. All right. So my bench this week is on modern day college football coaching. And I think that the main way that I saw this kind of being projected is in the Tulane game this week. Did you guys watch Tulane, South Florida?
Sadly, unfortunately, not.
Yeah, I don't
Hawks
blame you.
scored it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's not one of those games that you really needed to have on. Tulane railroaded them. That's not the main story that we have here. I think what my biggest gripe that I'm having is that Tulane they were up 45-10. So they're up by 35 points with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And if you'll imagine with me, they're driving, they're going down the field. So I'm sitting there like, okay, all right, they're probably going to get another touchdown. This looks like free money. Let me take them at 51 and a half, right? And they end up throwing the ball, which I was like shocked by. If anything, I was banking on them just being able to get a nice little cut, run through, get into the end zone, right? So they throw the ball into the end zone. They get pass interference call against them. They go to the 1 yard line. It's now the 2 minute warning. So we have the break, right? Tulane then decides with South Florida having 3 touchdowns. And again, they're already up by 35. So it doesn't matter whether they score or not. But they decided to kneel the ball at the 1 yard line 4 straight times. Four straight times to then give the ball back to South Florida with then enough time for them to even run a play. So my whole thought on this is get your guys the stats, get your team the win. It's morale. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's too polite. Like, oh, we feel like we shouldn't beat them by 42 instead of 35. What are we talking about here?
Was that according to the analytic or
it clearly, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I don't understand it. Like the idea of having your quarterback have to now like lose stats, and maybe that's just like the fan in me, and the coaches don't care about that. And again, maybe I'm the maybe I'm the what do you call it, the armchair quarterback shaking his fist at the sky, being like, "What the hell is going on here?" But I'm also in a space where like, let's be real, like year over year, these guys are transferring schools now. Like they need every touchdown they can get. They need every stat that they can get. That's going to take them from being a 4-star in the offseason to then after a full season being a 5-star and going to a blue chip. So I don't know. That was my absolute bench. I was just pissed, screaming at my TV on that one. But what I will tell you, what also makes me scream at my TV, but in kind of a good way, is how I'm playing this, is how competitive the NFL has been. I mean, like, I feel like every division is just chalked up right now. Like, there's a lot of obviously, like, some teams are hitting their strides, like obviously with a Minnesota, and things can happen. But I think there are some teams that are a little bit on the schneid that you're going to see them kind of railroad through the next couple of mid chunk through the season. So, I mean, the AFC North is still going to be pretty interesting. The AFC West probably needs a little bit more microwave action outside of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So, it's a fun little NFL season that we're having here. I don't love all the injuries, obviously, but definitely competitive.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of 2-2s in the divisions. I see AFC South 0-3 and 0-4. You know who those are. Yeah, a lot of 2-2s. It's very competitive.
Oh yeah. Damn, 2-2 teams.
And then embrace debate, Jake. I thought there was a ESPN news radio guy, and he was saying, and I want to get your thoughts on this, that Aaron Judge is statistically having a better season than Shohei Ohtani. Thoughts?
I mean, again, it depends on what we're looking at. Like, if you're looking from just the plate, because I feel like that's the only thing that you can really compare these two guys against. Like, he's not playing in the field. The Judge isn't necessarily a magnificent fielder, but he's definitely not a bad fielder. And I mean, he contributes from like getting fielding points when it comes to like WAR and other stats. So if we're talking about just the analytics on it, I'd rather have Shohei on my team than Judge when it comes to like him being a pure DH, right?
Base running.
You're right, for the base running, simply because of that. I mean, Shohei like is probably 2 hits away from getting the Triple Crown this year. Like Luis Arias like edged him out by, I think it was like 4 thousandths of a batting average to be able to get the batting title. So again, I'm going with Shohei in terms of who would you rather have on your team in the DH position. If you're now including all of the other pieces involved, where now they're both playing on the field, I'm still taking Shohei because he's pitching. You know what I mean? So again, give me Shohei every day of the week on that.
And
I do love Judge. I do love Judge, but
I'm with Jake on that too. Like I like Aaron Judge, but I mean he also plays in a stadium that's like the size of like a 50-cent piece. So like
for sure.
Like we could probably calculate a couple of those Shohei fly balls that are a little too deep, and there probably is a couple more home runs there that he would gain if he played in Yankee Stadium too. Yeah. So
big points.
It's valid.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts because I saw that.
I like the argument. It's definitely valid.
Oh,
I mean, there's gonna be some random follower that we have that's from New York that's screaming at us right now, saying, "How can you do that? What are you doing?"
I was with you when you talk about Rutgers, but now you're my Judge, big Aaron Judge. Come on, forget about it.
Can't talk about 99 like that. But no, I mean, you got to take Shohei again. He's just so dynamic when it comes to obviously the base running stuff. I think that's like the clear differentiator. But then when it comes to even just getting around the base path in general, like if you have a team that's built like the Dodgers, who's able to hit for not only a little bit of power but a little bit of average, that's why they're winning their division. That's why they're able to cruise through.
Absolutely. I just wanted a quick point because I didn't know where to fit that in the ranking, but that'll do it for our bench replay. We're gonna move on to worst or best tweet. I'm gonna lead us off. I think both best. We had the Florida Atlantic University versus the Wagner Hawks, I don't know, football game. And guys, the world's biggest took place at the 50-yard line. AJ and Big Justice were there. And to for anybody to get in this game, which I'm pretty sure I saw, it only took a cereal box for like a hunger charity to get into the game. So for a good cause, but also very kind of lame at the same time.
Hey, they bring the boom.
So, pretty empty because who wants to go see FAU play Wagner? But world's biggest recorded boom. I mean, has anybody else done that? Can't say.
Drew, I don't think so. But before you can move on, we really need to have a ranking of are you on team chicken bake or are you on team double chunk chocolate cookie? Like,
Double chunk chocolate
which which
cookie.
one are you on?
Um, I would say double chunk chocolate cookie, but since I can't eat chocolate anymore, I'm gonna have to go with the chicken bake.
Okay, okay. At least you're familiar with both teams' game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the internet know.
Exactly. Got it. Yeah. So everybody's wanting to know what team I am for AJ and Big Justice.
Exactly. The budding questions.
Yeah, seriously. And then last I had the MLB on Fox account posting the SpongeBob awards, like, oh, award, I want an award. And it was for the White Sox clinching the most losses in an MLB season. Absolute,
That
absolute
season,
comedy.
it was historic.
Yeah, it's just
Season to remember.
we can't get enough about the AL Central this year.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's I'll post a link who for once I don't know how SpongeBob and copyright claims goes, probably pretty strict, but yeah, that's all I had.
Oh. And then mine will be the two Alabama players writing on the eye black. Obviously, one having the Bible verse from the Book of Palms or whatever, and the other having kill everybody. True duality of man. You love to see it.
Absolutely just insane.
Oh
Just
my god.
the mindsets of both those players going into the game.
Oh
Hold
yeah.
on.
Like
Oh
God's
yeah.
looking over my shoulder and then just like I'm going to run you through you so hard that your soul comes like 10 yards out of your body.
I want to be a problem.
Exactly. Jake, what did you have?
All right. My favorite tweet that I saw of the weekend. Again, I was pissed about this Nebraska Purdue game. We already mentioned it earlier, and there was a tweet that went
Did
out
we?
that has this kid that's sitting basically sidelines, and he's in a Purdue shirt, and it says "Pour this guy a beer," and the score, as you can see on the bug, is 0-0 in the second quarter. And I was like, I will pour this guy a beer myself. Like he needs
Oh.
one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
he looked like he just got done working in a coal mine.
yeah, I know. He needs a beer that get that. and with the season Purdue is about to have too, he probably needs a couple. But the other tweet that I saw that I think was pretty interesting. This just happened relatively recently, but I think everybody saw that Karl Anthony Towns
Oh,
got traded to the
I
Knicks.
hate your notes. Fuck. Continue. I
Dude,
hate it.
yeah. So he got traded
Uh,
from Minnesota, obviously, to the Knicks. And the tweet that I saw is that
Wait, that actually
he,
happened?
yes,
Wait, really? Cat's a Nick?
you didn't know that?
No.
welcome from under the rock, brother. Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't
Patrick
follow the
Star
NBA
over
like
here.
that. Damn,
Anyways,
he's a Nick.
yeah.
You
So
get
well,
notifications.
yeah, last
So I'm
24
sorry. I'm
hours.
just gonna be in my own little
Anyways,
corner over here.
you're good. You're good. You're good. So yeah, so
Doom
last
scrolling.
24 hours, he became a Nick. And the tweet that I saw is that it was showing how it's like the history of big men that have been traded out of Minnesota and then have gone into championships. So obviously, KG got traded in 2007 from Minnesota, then went to the Celtics, and in 2008 they won the championship. Kevin Love, being their other kind of more recent big man, got traded in 2014 and then went to the Cavs, where in 2016 they won their championship. So
This is
I
for
have to say
you.
Cleveland for you, obviously, but I think this all means that if Cat gets traded, or Cat now being traded, do the Knicks win this year or do they win next year? Because that's what the math says.
I saw the funniest tweet. Josh, please go look at your Twitter right now. Do you remember
Oh my god.
if it didn't fall off the bone, it's free? Do you remember that
Oh my
guy?
God, yes.
Someone said Anthony Towns' knees after a full season with playing for Thibodeau.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
That's gonna be a fun Knicks team to watch, though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Cat doesn't cry having to play for Thibodeau in his practices and getting zero rest, but interesting. Glad breaking news for me. Thank you, Jake.
I got you.
That'll do it.
Hey, with Waj being retired, I can't blame you. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I wanted to mention that this week too, but yeah.
Yeah.
Woj bombs no more. Shams. Yeah, I'm sure he's
sham shots, they're coming
yeah.
in.
Yep.
Right. But that'll do it for our worst or best tweet. We go to our top five, our Bleacher rankings, our top five dynasties ever. So let's get into it. My number five dynasty ever, I had the Boston Celtics from 1958 to 1966. They won championships all through those years, except maybe one. Now why I have them at number five for that reason is the NBA maybe had like 8 teams at that time. But I mean, Bill Russell just absolutely dominating. I'm sure Bob Cousy was on that team. Um, I think John Havlicek might have been a little too old, or maybe he just got in that towards the end. But yeah, that's what I had for number five. Who wants to go
Uh,
next? Go, Jake.
I'll run it. I took a little bit of a unique approach with this on at least on my first couple. But for number five, I have Usain Bolt being the fastest man in the world from
Okay.
2009 to 2016. Held the world record for 7 years, 8 gold medals over 3 Olympics in the 100 meter, 200 meter, and the 4x100 meter. And we get the stare back meme from it, which is like arguably one of the best memes of all time, where like he's running and then he looks back at his competition. So again, give me Usain Bolt at my five.
Oh yeah, and similar to Jake, my list will be weird. My number five dynasty, Joey Chestnut, obviously 55
Oh,
world records,
solid.
16 Nathan's
So
hot
good.
dog contest champions. Obviously, to name some accomplishments, we have 25.7 ounces of pastrami. We got 25.5 baked ice cream sandwich bars. That's insane. 28 pounds of poutine. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on. All 55. You could sit here and name them and just try to guess. You could take over under numbers. It's fun.
Could you go back to pastrami? How much pastrami did you say?
Let me see. Let me go back here.
Sorry.
25.7 ounces. That might be 25 pounds and 7 ounces. I bet you that's what it is. They probably didn't put the little them LBs in
It's
there.
got to be.
25
It's got to be
pounds of
25 pounds.
that
Because what'd you say? It
Lord,
wasn't poutine like 12 pounds, or what'd you just say?
Yeah, poutine was 28 pounds.
Oh my Lord. That's
Bro, 14,
diabolical.
14 pounds of bologna. Woo!
Are you just eating the log? Like,
that's interesting. Interesting, Josh. My number four that I had was the Montreal Canadiens from 1952 to 1973, 12 championships through that time frame. And why I have them at number four, absolute dynasty, absolute elite team. However, just during that time period, French Canada had some of the most elite hockey players, and scouting wise, other teams may have not had those kind of opportunities to get those best players. So that's why the Canadians were always so stacked, but also a very great dynasty. So give me them at four.
I like it. My number four is going to be UConn women's basketball since 1985 when Gino
Mm,
Arumiam, I messed it up. Yeah,
I,
we're
I
here.
appreciate that
Chino.
you
Hey,
tried.
we're alive. We're alive. But under Gino, they have set the record for 126 regular season wins from 2014 to 2019. They also have another win streak of 111 straight wins from 2014 to 2017, and from 2008 to 2022, um, they've appeared in 14 Final Fours and they've had six national championships. So again, just absolute women's powerhouse. They've brought out Diana Taurasi. They've brought out Kelsey Plum. They're going to bring out a lot more with Paige Beckers.
Mm-hmm.
Give me UConn at my four.
Oh yeah. And my number four will be the Oakland Athletics. Sorry you lost your team. Special shout out here. From 1971 to 1975. Known either as the Swingin' A's or the Mustache Gang. They won the World Series in 72, 73, and 74.
Three and
Some of
three.
some of the big names there. Catfish Hunter, he got the Cy Young in 74. Reggie Jackson, of course, MVP. And then some of Hall of Famers from those teams: Gene Tanis, 1972 World Series MVP, Ray Fozzie, Sal Bondo, Joe Rudy, and of course Raleigh Fingers. And yeah, again, sorry
Yeah.
Oakland, you lost your team.
I was going to say, Raleigh Fingers plays into what we're talking about earlier. Isn't he one of the only relievers that has a Cy Young?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Look at that.
Dang, interesting. I didn't know that.
He's got the
Um,
curlicue.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Mustache Gang, also a very cool team, like nickname. Like we don't have any cool nicknames for teams nowadays. Not that
Oh
I
yeah, the
could think
Mustache
of.
Gang. That's so cool.
Yeah. My number three, the 1980s for the San Francisco 49ers, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, uh, elite football team, 4 Super Bowls, absolutely insane. I think 1981, 84, 88, and 89. Just a great stretch for the 80s for the 49ers.
I like it. My third one is going to be Alabama football under Nick Saban from 2007 to 2023, 6 titles in 17 years. Buddy had a career record of 201 and 29 while coaching at Alabama for a near 900 winning percentage. I don't find me someone better. Give me Alabama at 3.
Oh yeah, good one. And then my number 3 will be Michael Schumacher in his Ferrari days. 72 wins with the Scuderia, 58 pole positions in 180 races. Obviously, a 7-time world champ. Bring me back to those days, please, please.
Scuda Ferrari.
The days of the V8 Ferrari and V10, right? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, V10, V12s. The V8s are where we're at now. Yeah, with the turbo hybrid.
Oh, that's not a V6 in the F1 car now?
I think it is V6, I think now. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Michael Schumacher, absolutely elite.
Which we'll get to those later.
Race car driver. My number 2, I had the UCLA Bruins basketball team from 1967 to 1973 under John Wooden. Elite players, Bill Walton, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know if Elgin Baylor was on that team. He might have been way older, I think. That's probably the case. But just be able to roll out a team in college for at least basketball players year in and year out, just absolutely remarkable. Most dominant basketball team in college. Give me the Bruins for 2.
There we go. Number 2, I'm going Showtime Lakers, baby. 1980 to 1988. 5 championships in 9 years. Obviously, we've got all of the iconic players from Kareem to Magic. But I think that this team really just changed the preface of not only basketball, but sports coverage. I mean, not only the player interviews that came after this, the lifestyle stuff that you wanted to see because of a guy like Magic Johnson. And then that led into the allure of what was Jordan. And Jordan obviously then took it and ran with the torch. But that all starts with Magic Johnson. So give me the Showtime Lakers at 2.
And continuing on to our, again, what we just talked about, V6 turbo hybrid era, we have Mercedes-Benz and Lewis Hamilton. 84 wins with the same constructor. That's a record. 240 starts with the same constructor. That's a record. 7-time world champ. Should have been 8th. I'll toss my hat in there. I'll fight. I'm not afraid. But yeah, number 2, Lewis Hamilton, an absolute GOAT.
And what goes through Lewis Hamilton? There goes Hamilton. That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, what a good race. He didn't even win that race, but that was such a good call.
Right. And my number 1, the Alabama Crimson Tide under the Saban era. I'm going with Jake. Give me them at my number 1. Just the how he evolved that team from having AJ McCarron with Mark Ingram and a pro style offense to being able to transition to like almost a spread offense to what we see in Jaden Milroe. Incredible to have just the top players come through that program year in, year out. Nobody's been able to do it like him. Give me the Alabama Crimson Tide at 1.
Oh, and the rehab. Oh, and the rehabbing of coordinators too.
Oh yeah, ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Drew, can you give us I ain't give a piss about nothing but the Tide for us?
I can't piss about nothing but the Tide. Bitch, I'm a blitz.
There we go. I love it. Well, my number 1, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this team. I talk about it probably way too much on the podcast, but my number 1 is going to be the Yankees, and it's going to be 1947 and 1962. How you done? But we're talking about 10 World Series in 15 years, 5 consecutive at one point. Dead ball era, but we have all of the legends that we know and love of, Ruth DiMaggio. Personally, my favorite being Yogi Berra because he's known for his yogi-isms and the kind of crazy stuff that he says. So again, I think that from a dynasty standpoint, they are the epitome of a dynasty. When you think of the Yankees overall as a team, they are that. But let's get into the core of it. 1947, 1962 Yankees as my number 1.
What did you have? A brand new Mickey Mantle rolling out. Joe DiMaggio. Who was
DiMaggio, Mantle.
Who was the guy who had the disease?
Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, Lou Gehrig on like his final years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You had a
playing
squad
for the Yankees. Yeah. And elite.
And that will roll into my number 1. When we talk dynasties, we talk expectations. And for my number 1, I have the U.S. women's soccer team. 4 FIFA World Cups, 5 gold medals. It's the only legitimate reason as an American that you should be watching soccer is to see them go to the championship, take home all the trophies, all of the hardware, all of the tackle. And you know what? Continue on. because that's
Hoorah.
for me. That's the #1 dynasty. That's where we chant USA in the streets, baby.
Go, go, USA. Clap it up, everybody.
This has been a patriotic pod. I'm talking about Army quarterbacks. Josh is talking about USA women's national team. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Post Olympics too. Wave the flag.
Mm-hmm. You know, I gotta say, it seems like every pod becomes my favorite pod, but this has been my favorite. Just keep the next one always becomes my favorite. This is always so much fun. Elite top 5 from all of us. That'll do for top 5, and that'll do for the show. Hopefully, truly enjoyed watching. Please like all the videos. Please follow us on TikTok, Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Any closing thoughts before we head out?
Just keep rolling, people. I mean, we've got a lot of NFL coming. We've got some college football, obviously postseason baseball you've heard us start to talk about. So again, to Drew's point, follow us and let us know what type of content you want to see. I mean, Drew has obviously let us know about him losing parlays and losing straight bets, and I've done the same. And if you want to see either one of us win a bet, maybe let us know what the picks are too. We would love to. We'd love to hear what somebody smart has to say, because we're all here to have a little bit of fun.
Oh yeah, post your bell cows.
Absolutely, yeah, bell cows, baby. And that'll do it. And we will see you next week on Bros of the Future Podcast.
Later, bros.